my channel. I am back with this week's Teen Mom Recap. Before I get started with this week's video, I would love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I post weekly updates on the Teen Moms and recaps whenever the season is airing. I make the episodes a lot shorter, sweeter, and funnier, so if that's something you'd want to watch, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this week's video. So we're going to start off with the bad news, and it's some pretty terrible news from the Jenelle camp. The Ashley just released an article. Let's take a look. Former Teen Mom star Jenelle Evans regains custody of son Jace after CPS drops case against her. The gag order in the case is also dropped. Yeah, so let's read the article first, and then I'll tell you my reaction to this. Jace had been placed with David's sister in late December as he was waiting for a bed in a long-term mental health facility. However, he ended up staying there for over 6 weeks as no beds were available. Typical state of mental health in this country. An incident last week, however, changed the plan, and Jace was removed from April's care. So that's interesting. I'm wondering what incident. Was it something bad that happened with April? Did Jace say that he wanted to leave April's? Does he even have a say? However, the Sun says that there is still a no contact order against David for Jace because the criminal case is thankfully still ongoing. April declined to comment. And the Ashley, it says, because of the CPS case being dismissed, custody of Jace will go back to Jenelle. That means that while Jenelle has legal custody of Jace, the custody agreement that was in existence before the CPS case between Barbara and Jenelle will once again be active. So there are some legal requirements where Jenelle has to let Barbara see Jace, and that will all go back into effect. And it says, that being said, the Ashley can confirm that currently Jace is not physically with Jenelle and will likely not be for a while. Jace is not living with Barbara or Jenelle right now, won't be for a long time, but he's also not living with April. Jace left April's home last week, an incident went down, but it wasn't anything that April did wrong. So I'm wondering, did Jace maybe do something to April? Did Jace do something that put April's kids in danger? I'm just completely speculating here. One thing that should be noted is that even though Jenelle has custody, a no contact order is still in place between David and Jace. That means he cannot move back into Janelle's home unless David no longer lives there. Janelle will get the decision-making power back to make medical and other decisions for him, and she will also be financially responsible for Jace's care. Also, apparently Jace and David did have an incident where they were allowed to be in the same place at the same time for some reason that was allowed. As for why the CPS case was dropped, Janelle's lawyers were able to find some details and mistakes made by CPS, and they basically manipulated those mistakes and the case was dropped. It came as a big surprise to everyone. And we got some videos from dear old Jenelle here. Let's check them out.
I have some good news, and I'm kind of shaking right now from anxiety. So, all allegations against me and my husband have been officially dropped. CPS took a voluntary dismissal, and I wanted to be the first to let you guys know. I wasn't going to share this information. I was actually going to keep it private and just kind of give a vague statement, but right now, I need to control the narrative. Now that this case has been dropped, I'm focusing on Jace's mental health, and I want to focus solely on his mental health right now. So right now, I'm not going to give any details about what happened pertaining to the case, but it will be shared eventually and soon, just not right now. It's not the best time. Number 2, someone is already leaking information to the media, and this is either Jace's father or my mother, the only 2 people who knew the information. So right now, like I said, I'd appreciate it if everyone respects my son's privacy so he can get his mental health in check, and just know that I am super happy. I feel like this is unreal. Still hasn't hit me yet. I still feel like I don't have the ability to talk freely, but I'm happy, and thanks for everyone who supported me. I appreciate it, and now I feel like I can move on with my life, but just want to let you guys know. So yeah, control the narrative, which you guys probably have never heard this term before. This is kind of like an entertainment term for, I would say, agents or managers that are trying to, they know a leak is about to come out and they're like, oh no, what do we do? What do we do? We got to control this before it gets switched into a negative light, right? So obviously you can see that bad press are made about celebrities, and then sometimes they don't respond. And when they don't respond, it just kind of looks like is this real? Is it not? But a lot of people lean towards that's real if it's something bad about them, and the celebrity kind of goes into hiding. The number one thing I'm not going to do is go into hiding. And number two, I already knew a leak was about to be made and an article was about to be posted. And I knew that was going to be made by The Sun. And I knew The Sun has a negative thing against me. And they, particularly Jessica Finn from The Sun. She is the article poster that doesn't leave me alone. She's a reporter that constantly harasses me and my family, contacts all close sources to me. So yeah, I had a tip that she was about to post an article, so I was like, well, the article is probably going to be negative, so I need to make sure that I release this myself before she releases anything, because she's just going to twist words. And then after my TikTok gets posted, the article comes out, words are twisted, and yeah. The article she wrote is bad, but this is actually really good news. It's really great news for my family, and everybody should be happy. But instead, The Sun wants to make my life miserable. So that's the reasoning behind control the narrative. You make sure you handle your shit before someone's going to twist it into something it's not.
Jenelle really thinks that we're as stupid as her and we don't know what control the narrative means. And the fact that she's admitting that she wants to control the narrative, I mean, that's really something. You're basically saying, I want to manipulate the media. And also, one more little comment, saying, oh, I was going to keep this private. Bitch, this happened on Tuesday. It's Thursday. You waited 2 days and you're like, oh, I got tax liens. Time to release some news. And it's not entirely true what she said. She's like, oh, everything against me and David has been cleared. No, he still has the assault charge ongoing. Although at this point, I really have no hope that that's not going to get dropped on some stupidity too. Like, oh, the camera angle was actually at like a 78-degree angle, so actually everything's invalid. You're clear. Like, I will not be surprised if something like that happens. Because for this CPS case to get dropped, I mean, how incompetent do you have to be? There's literally video footage. How do you manipulate that? And this is not the first time this has happened either. Like, I'm sitting here dumbfounded because they've been through CPS cases in the past, right? They were cleared back in 2019 for whatever reason. They were cleared a few months ago from taking Kaiser and Ensley out of their care. Like, what mistake could CPS have made that was so bad that they just threw out the whole case with video footage? Not every case is lucky enough to have video footage. And the worst part about this all is that Jenelle is just gonna think she's right. She's gonna think she's right. Like, she's totally validated by all this, even though she was saying that CPS was like a joke a few weeks ago and North Carolina's the most corrupt place in the world. And now I bet you she's singing quite a different tune. That's what I kind of like about reality TV, is it really shows how our justice system actually works. How these people in positions of power and you would think they're not that powerful, they're just like a D-list celebrity, but they do horrible things. Ryan destroying Mackenzie's house and get no jail time. David's not even a felon, and he literally has beat like every single girlfriend that he has, every single child that he has, he beats, and no jail time. CPS case dropped. Like, it really is quite disgusting. And I honestly have no hope that the assault case is going to go anywhere at this point either. Or maybe it's just CPS that is that terrible. I don't know. But anyway, our one little glimmer of hope is that he still can't really contact David, although there was apparently one incident. He can't live with David. And we already know that Jenelle is not going to kick David out to live with Jace, okay? She's always going to put David first no matter what. So the chances of her being like, okay, bye, David, no, Jace can live with me is very, very low. So I'm not sure where Jace is right now. He's not at April's. He's not at Jenelle. He's not at Barbara's. Maybe a bed at this residential facility opened up. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's the very depressing update on that. Let's go ahead and move on because I'm getting sick talking about this. So we have some news on Ryan and Mackenzie. It's been revealed by the Ashley's Reality Roundup and The Sun that at the end of January, Ryan threatened Mackenzie and said that he was going to return to her home to get his weapons. So clearly he's very grateful for the freedom that he has after being released from jail for no reason. So to go into more detail, basically Mackenzie called 911 on January 31st. She says, I need to speak to an officer. My ex-husband tore up my house almost a year ago. He hasn't lived here in a year and he's trying to come over and get some things. I don't want him here. I was just going to see if an officer can be close to my house. He tried to stab me a year ago and I'm just a little nervous. Did we know that Ryan tried to stab her? I remember that he threw tobacco in her face, he held her up by her neck, he threw her, which are all horrible things, but I did not remember that he tried to stab her. Okay, after a little research, I found this page 6 article where it says, Ryan opened a pocket knife, put it to my back like he was going to kill me. This was in front of our children. I tried to leave, he smashed my phone and took my car keys. So he did try to stab her. Terrifying. So what is so important that Ryan said that he needed to come to her house to pick up? You know, the house that he hasn't lived in for almost a year. So obviously it can't be like a phone or a laptop or something that he uses on a daily basis. Well, a computer cord, of course. A computer cord. Do computers even need cords anymore besides like the charger and maybe like a USB cable? And obviously, again, if it was a charger, I'm guessing he wasn't going without that for months. How do you not have any cords? Did you and Amanda just wear out all your cords by tying off your arm to shoot up? You can't just buy a cord. You have to go back to Mackenzie's in the middle of the night and get her cord. Obviously, anyone with 2 brain cells to rub together can tell that Ryan's just trying to use any lame excuse to go to the house and harass Mackenzie. You know, it's like girls who leave their hair ties at a guy's house to be like, oops, babe, I need to come over again. I left something there. Except the person coming to your house is like trying to kill you. So Ryan, in all his meth logic, also calls 911 on his way to Mackenzie's. And this is what he says. Listen, I have an issue right now. I'm trying to get something out of the garage of mine where I live. My ex-wife still lives there. We still own the house. Is there any way I can get an officer to go with me? She's still my wife. We're in the process of getting divorced. Right now, I don't think it's a good idea if I show up without an officer because she is armed. I don't know how else to explain it to you. She told me to bring a police officer with me, so I'd be more than happy to do that. It's not a pressing issue, but it is an issue. I just don't want any problems. So I'm guessing that he called 911 to bring an officer because Mackenzie told him, you better not show up at my house without a cop. Which is smart on her end because we all know if she said, you know, no, you can't come, Ryan's gonna say that she stole his belongings or she's withholding his stuff. So Ryan shows up with the cop. There's body cam footage of it, but nothing really happens. And surprise, surprise, he doesn't even find the mystery computer cord. Shocker. But what happened after he left is what would have happened at the scene if the cop had not been there. So Mackenzie called 911 shortly after Ryan left to tell them what Ryan had texted her after he left. She says, when Ryan left, he sent me a text after he left with the police acting like he was the victim. He said, you'll be hard-pressed finding a place to live and no one will survive anything because you can't act grown. He also let me know he was coming tomorrow to get weapons. I'm not sure what he's talking about. He's out of his freaking mind. I have that recorded. All I have is my personal pistol. I don't have any weapons that are his. Whatever weapons owned by us in our marital property over the last 8 years are weapons that I purchased that I don't know what he's done with. She said the children are with his mother, Jen. She says Ryan does not even see them. All I can say is thank God that Mackenzie is armed. Clearly she needs to be. As we all know, if that cop had not been there, Ryan would have been saying this stuff in person. Probably holding her up by her neck again like the psycho that he is. Like, no one will survive anything? What is he trying to say? Like his kids won't even survive? And what does he mean by you'll be hard-pressed finding a place to live? She lives in the house that you previously destroyed, obviously cleaned up since then, but like, this is just another threat. Maybe that his weirdo biker gang is gonna like make her feel unsafe in her own home. I don't know, scary. So besides the fact that Ryan has learned nothing, we also see Mackenzie reiterate once again that he does not see their kids. His girlfriend, Amanda Connor, did not respond to the threatening text or the computer cord incident, but she did respond to the accusations of him not seeing his kids. She says, to my knowledge, this is false. However, Mackenzie is very dramatic and hates that he is sober, happy, and moved on. Hell, I don't put it past her though. Typical depressed housewife issues. And I just want to throw it out there about this co-parenting issue. I support Ryan being involved in his kid's life. Oh, I forgot the country voice. She will not let him. Anytime he tries to co-parent with her, she does nothing but scream and cuss, which results in him hanging up. Mackenzie's dramatic. Your man just threatened Mackenzie's life over a fake computer cord. He's most certainly not sober. And I don't just mean like not California sober either. Like Amanda and Ryan's definition of sober probably just means that they snort meth and heroin instead of inject it. And to call Mackenzie a depressed housewife is kind of ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure Mackenzie does have some kind of job in nursing. Does Amanda have a job? I haven't seen any mention of it. Like, someone has to work between those two, considering her and Ryan just moved in together. Another great decision. but I get the feeling that that house might just be like Jen and Larry's side property that they let Ryan have for free. Wouldn't be a surprise. And last but not least, speaking on Mackenzie's kids is a joke, considering Amanda Connor does at least have one child, who she lost custody of after her and the baby's dad both went to jail. And that was revealed, I believe, by the son. So that is that. What do you think of Jenelle regaining custody of Jace? Is he actually gonna live with her? Because for him to live there, David would have to not be there, so this is a little tricky. And what do you think of Ryan? Was he really looking for a computer cord? What would have happened if the cop had not been there? Make sure to leave a comment down below, and make sure to subscribe for more Teen Mom recaps every week.